Welcome back. One of the functions of shows like this, where we gather each and every morning, is to revisit topics. Of course, important new information is always coming about, and this is a topic that we must keep an eye on, as my dad would say, and certainly be mindful of. We are making progress, but the battle, although enjoined, has not yet been won. I am speaking of Alzheimer's. It is one word that certainly has such deep and profound meaning to so many of us on a daily basis, let alone through the sweep of our lives. I'm excited to welcome Ronnie Daniel here this morning to talk about the very latest, and also, of course, to talk about the work still to be done. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you? Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. You bet. Got your purple on.
Yes, our walk T-shirt. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for visiting. Tell us the latest. I have a sense, and I will confess that I don't have a personal experience in my family. So I feel maybe a little less aware than I should be, but of course that's
Sure, let me tell you a bit about
nationwide.
there's about 5.4 million people living with Alzheimer's disease and about almost 16 million people caring for them. And so it's as much of an impact on the person with the disease as it is the family members and friends that are caring for them. Right now in the United States, 1 out of every 10 people at age 65 has Alzheimer's disease. And at age 85, it increases to 1 out of every 3 people. In fact, people who are seniors that die, 1 in 3 of them die with some form of Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. And so it's very, very prevalent in our culture today. In fact, it's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. If we bring that down to a local level here in Utah, there's about 31,000 people here in the state of Utah living with the disease, which represents about 10% of our senior population. And there's over 152,000 caregivers, and so it's, again, significant for our caregivers here in the state. And I mentioned nationwide, it's the 6th leading cause of death. Here in Utah, it's the 4th leading cause of death. And Utah, because we tend to be a healthier population, people live longer, and the single largest risk factor to this disease is age. And so as we age, we're more susceptible to the disease. And one of the things that scientists tell us that they believe is the major cause of the disease is a buildup of what's called beta amyloid plaque. And so it's a protein that builds up on the brain, and it begins to destroy the neurotransmissions. For Alzheimer's disease, it starts in the memory centers, and so that's why memory is most often affected and a very significant factor in the disease. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the research that's been going on about this disease. In fact, I was just at an international research conference in July in Chicago, where over 6,000 people, 6,000 researchers came together. They do that annually to collaborate and look at the different research that's going on. And one of the most significant ones was a drug study called BAN 2401. And this drug actually is designed to, for all intents and purposes, wipe out or erase beta amyloid plaque in the brain. And there's been a number of these trials that have been happening over the years, but many of them have failed. But this, for the first time, has shown a significant reduction in beta amyloid plaque in the brain. And so, for the first time ever on the horizon, we have a potential pharmaceutical solution that could stop or even reduce Alzheimer's disease in people. So, very exciting.
That's really exciting.
They are still only in phase 2 trials, and so they have to go to phase 3, which could be another 5 to 10 years before they get out of that trial. But that's very exciting to know that potentially we've got a drug on the horizon that could help us out. And another significant research item that came out was looking at how we can perhaps prevent getting the disease for ourselves. And research has been going on to link blood pressure and Alzheimer's disease. There's a great relationship between the health of your heart and the health of your brain. And so as you can keep your blood pressure low, so the systolic number, which is the top number on your blood pressure, if you can keep that below 120 consistently at a resting rate, then that's been shown to have almost a 50% positive influence on reducing your risk for Alzheimer's disease. So for all of us who love the outdoors and love to get out and exercise, keep doing that, because that can help reduce your blood pressure. And certainly if you have need to take medication for blood pressure, take it, because that will help to reduce your risk for Alzheimer's disease overall.
And it occurs to me that one of the really exciting things about the information that you've shared with us is that in many of these types of conditions, diseases, maladies, there is either some great progress on treatment, or there is some great progress on prevention.
Right.
And in this case, you have good news in both categories.
Yeah, and for so long it's not been the case. You know, Alzheimer's has been kind of a death sentence for people, and there hasn't been a lot of hope for the disease. And so now finally, you know, like I said, on the horizon, we have some great potential here. And that's one reason why we do our Walk to End Alzheimer's, is to help raise awareness for people so that people know they're not alone and know that there is some hope out there. And our walks are, we like to call them in a lot of cases the world's largest Alzheimer's support group, because every year when we do our walks, people let us know that they didn't know that there's so many other people who are living with this disease and didn't know there was help available to them.
And you make a great point about the word awareness. Typically, and I think my historical usage or understanding of that word is myself as an observer, but also making yourselves aware as Alzheimer's support caregivers, but and also Alzheimer's sufferers.
Absolutely, you know, and that's what our organization does. The Alzheimer's Association provides care and support services for people with the disease. We have support groups up here in the Wasatch Back area. We do public education programs all the time, so we can help you know, make people understand the progress of the disease, break down the stigmas. You know, so often people have the stigma that anything that happens to your brain, you don't want anyone to know about. And that makes it more difficult. And so if we can continue to talk about it and make sure people know that there are resources. We have an award-winning website at alz.org/Utah. People can go to and get all kinds of resources. And we also have a 24/7 helpline that people can call, obviously 24 hours a day, and get help in over 200 different languages or dialects. And so that number is 1-800-392, I'm sorry, I must be having a little Alzheimer's moment myself here. So it's 393-2700 is the number. So
393-2700, 393-2700, and that's an 800 number.
That's an 800 number, and people can call that, and there's master level clinicians on the other end of the phone that can help them and answer any questions, whether they're simple or, you know, crisis. They can get the help that they need.
That's great. What a powerful tool.
Very much so.
In picking up the telephone. Great stuff. All right, let's talk about the event.
You bet. So coming up this Saturday on September 8th is our Wasatch Back Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's going to be at Basin Recreation will be the base point, so people can come and gather there. Starting at 9 a.m. they can come and check in and register. And then it's about a 2-mile, very casual walk that people will do. And we have a you know, so we'll have a number of vendors there, all the resources that will be available. People can come. It's a very dog-friendly event, so if you've got a dog, bring your dog out and walk with your dog.
Here in Park City.
Here in Park City. So it's a great opportunity to get out and fun in the morning. And your weather report you just gave, looks like the weather's going to be great on Saturday. So we invite people to come out and participate. You know, a lot of times our teams will come out and they'll be walking in honor of someone that that's currently living with the disease, whether they live here locally or elsewhere, or oftentimes they're walking in memory of someone that's passed from the disease. And so we do this really great, what we call a flower ceremony. So everyone who comes gets a little pinwheel flower.
Oh, nice. And
there's 4 different colors, one representing the reason why people walk. And so if you are just a general supporter, you can get an orange flower. If you're a caregiver, you get a yellow flower. If you're someone who's living with the disease, that's a blue flower. And then if you've lost someone to the disease, it's a purple flower. And each year we also have one special white flower, and the white flower represents the first survivor. And so we know that person's alive today. We want to just really promote that, and so it's a very powerful ceremony. And it's just a great day. It's a fun time. It's not a long event, so by 11:30, people are wrapped up and can head on to their other activities for the day.
That's fantastic, and make sure to give a high five to everybody with the yellow flower.
That's right.
That is
that caregivers are so important for this. Yeah.
You did such a great job. I just enjoyed sitting and listening, Ronnie. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
For the work that you do. ALZ.org.
That's right.
/Utah.
That's right.
All the information there.
And you can check out the website there. Register for the walk online, so you can avoid having to stand in line the morning of to register. Go online and take care of all that ahead of time.
Great stuff. Awesome. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. ALZ.org, you guys, that is the place to go, /Utah, to find out more information about this weekend's walk at Basin Recreation Center right here in Park City. Let us keep moving forward in the progress to win, both from a treatment and from a cure perspective, this pernicious disease. We'll be right back after this. Please stay tuned.